Hi, it's Tom Mayers again with Land's End Marina. I'm just doing these videos just to try to disseminate information, and I'm working here every day, and we have some practices that we use that may be useful to other people. And today I'm going to show you how we take paint from a 1 gallon can and put it in smaller containers for us to use. So we're doing a lot of housework, painting rooms, painting the outside of the house, and we use a Behr primer for most of our work because it's worked really well for us. So again, Tom Mayers, this is just some different practices we use at Land's End Marina, and I hope you'll find it interesting. Thank you. Here's the Behr paint that we use. It's a Behr primer, exterior and interior, water-based. And we use it a lot because it's just done really well for us. And what we usually do is we need to work out of small bottles because it's easier to work out of small bottles. So the problem is how do you get the paint neatly in a small bottle? So it's something we just figured out on our own. I'm sure maybe other people have used this way because it works really well. So here's the gallon of paint. This is a Mora knife made in Sweden. When I worked there right out of high school and in college, these knives were famous because they were just good utility knives. And I see them used today. There's a lot of them around the world. So what I do is I just take the knife. This can has been shaken at the Home Depot. I take the knife, I put it on the edge of the inside of the lid, put the knife in, and just turn it. I do the same thing on the other side. Put the knife in and turn it. So then by doing that, you've given yourself a nice opening. And you just put your container that you're going to fill and you just pour. So it gives you a good controlled pour by putting it in these smaller containers. Just easier for us to use. So it's just a process that you go by, and I just save bottles from things we drink here, and they're plastic, they're not breakable. So you just finish one up, try to be careful, put the top on it, put it aside. There's another more wide mouth bottle. That's a little easier to fill. But this is just a practice that we have here. Works really well, and you might incorporate it into your use. Makes it to where, and this paint stays well in these small containers for 6 months to a year. I've never had a problem. We just shake them up. I shook this, even though this was shaken at Home Depot, I shook it myself just before I started this pouring off. So you can see how it goes. After I finish this pouring, I'll just put tape around it with a label that says simply primer. And so when I have it on my shelves, it's just easier to access. And so I hope you find this maybe something that you can use. It solved a problem for us because we are always making a mess. So I'll show you a few other things here. Right behind the cans, you'll see boards. I've had other boat builders come here and say, what are all the boards for? Well, In some shops they use cardboard, but we find it easy to use pieces of plywood. So we have, pieces of plywood left over, pieces of plywood that we just use specifically. And so what the plywood does is just give us a platform to work off of, whether we're using two-part epoxy with filler or all fair or something that has to be mixed on a board. So you can see some of the projects we've got going. There's the Lands' End 54, and then basically I'm going to just turn it around, show you. This is the shop here. This is where we do a lot of work. I have an old bandsaw. I guess the bandsaw is like 70 years old. But we just have different projects. They have a little bandsaw, little drill press, and the rest is all hand tools. I've found the Ryobi battery operated drills really useful, so we use those a lot. And then, as you can tell, the water is just a fact of life here. So even with just a normal high tide, we have a water problem. It comes in my shop on an extra high tide. So anyway, this is Tom Mayers with Lands' End Marine again. I hope you found this useful. Thank you. Bye.